Okay, how about some yoga on a Friday morning during a lockdown? So today we're going to talk about being inside of this possibility of what's being planted in us by this long time sort of underground, right? So this is just a different version of our winter moving into our spring as we emerge. So standing tall on your mat, root down through your feet. You can bend your knees a little bit, even look down at your feet, lift your toes, spread them wide. So we bend our knees just to take some pressure off our low back, and then soften your toes down, stand up nice and tall, and then stack your shoulders over your hips, over your knees, over your ankles. Roll your shoulders a few times. Back, and then we'll roll them forward. And now bring your hands to your heart. Standing tall, close your eyes. Rest your head right in the center of your body, right over the center of that space between your feet. So see if you can tune into that long line of energy from where you're rooting down into the earth and rising up through the crown of the head. And as you stand tall, eyes closed, hands resting with thumbs nestling right into your sternum, tune into your breath, feeling it flow in through the nose and out through the nose. One more breath, fully engaging your inhalation and fully releasing your exhalation. Allow your chin to come towards your chest. Ease your eyes open, and then inhale the arms and gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart. Thumbs tap the sternum. Remember your intention, or set it right now. Your intention is sort of a driving force in everything that you do. So if you want to become more peaceful, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a blower outside. My landscapers just showed up. Hopefully that's not too loud. But inside of your intention, it's about moving more towards whatever it is that's driving you in the moment. Is it more peace? Is it more flexibility? Is it more wonder, perhaps, in this shutdown time? Maybe it's just getting through. You choose your word or a couple of words, and then each time we see our hands come back together in this way, we affirm that intention again and again. So on your next exhalation, we'll sweep the arms down to go up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step back on your mat. All the way into plank pose. And from your plank pose, we'll lower halfway. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Rooting the heels. Bend your right knee deeply. Sink the left heel. Inhale up high onto the tiptoes, and then exhale, sink the heels. Bend the left knee deeply, sink the right heel. Keep letting go of the weight of your head, and then inhale up high on the tiptoes. Exhale, sink both heels. Big toes together, knees apart, find child's pose. So releasing your shoulders over your back like a cloak, sinking your hips towards your heels, letting your forehead rest. Soften your hands. You can bring your hands together in a diamond shape. Your thumb and your pointers touch. Just rest them on the floor above your head. And imagine this
introspective pose, being a little like the seeds that we plant underground. It's a little like those intentions that we plant over and over. So be with whatever it is you're planting in yourself during this time. A friend pointed out that spring has not been canceled. Thank you, Molly. And spring is happening in most parts of the world. So we can get outdoors when it's not raining in Indiana. We can get outdoors and enjoy what's happening in the world and perhaps be inspired. Inspired to plant in ourselves during this quiet that which is growing out of our intention. So, on your next inhalation, reach your hands forward, rising back up into down dog. And we'll send our right leg up into the sky. Sweep the right foot up between the hands. Lengthen from the back heel through the crown. Then draw the left knee to the ground. Plant your left hand. Reach your right hand up to the sky. Reach, reach, reach. On your exhalation, sweep the right hand down. From here, lift the left knee, send the left heel to the ground, wind open into Warrior Two. Gazing over your front fingertips, sink toward a 90-degree angle in the front knee. And root down into the feet. On your exhalation, sweep the hands back. Heel and toe your right foot over toward the long edge of the mat. Bring your left knee to the ground. You can plant your left hand and your right foot. So we've got a little bit more space here. And we'll send our right hand around behind. Maybe bend that knee, take a hold of the foot, and pull the heel in toward the sits bone. Opening the right shoulder, maybe turn to look up. Stay rooted in the right foot. And then on your exhalation, release the back foot. Send the right hand up in front. Lift the left knee and step back into plank. From your plank pose, lengthen one line of energy from the heels through the crown of the head. Shift forward on the toes, lower halfway. Inhale, draw the heart forward, upward dog, rolling onto the tops of the feet. Exhale, roll back through the toes, downward facing dog. Release all the weight of the head. One more breath. Left leg floats up into the sky. Sink the right heel. Exhaling, send the left foot up between the hands. From here, right knee comes to the ground. Plant your right hand, left hand to the sky. Open across the chest, reaching up through the left hand, root down through the right. Winding your heart upward. On your exhalation, we'll sweep the left hand down, turn the right heel down, spin your right arm open, up and back, Warrior Two. Gazing over the left hand. Remember, we always want to be able to see the big toe on the inside of this front knee. Find your edge. On your exhalation, we'll sweep the hands back to the ground. Right knee comes to the ground. We heel and toe the left foot over to the left a couple of times. Both hands plant for a moment, and we'll sink our right hand and our left foot, really root them down. Send your left hand around behind. Bend your right knee, take a hold of the toes or the ankle. Roll the left shoulder open and look up. Open across the heart. Feel that wonderful ringing out inside the left scapula. Stretch the right quad and keep the left knee tucked in toward the midline. Broad across the shoulders, broad across the collarbones. And then on your exhalation, release the back foot. Left hand swims forward. And we'll step our right knee up, step left foot back. From here, lower half. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Releasing all the weight of the head. Rooting down into the hands. One more breath. Now look up between your hands, step, hop, or float up to standing forward bend. And release the weight of your whole torso. On your next inhalation, we'll sweep the fingertips along the ground. Chair. My students know how much I love chair pose. Maybe a little too much for them. Keep your thighs parallel. We can see our toes in front of our knees in this one. Biceps come alongside of ears. And it's not a big pelvic tilt here, but we aim our sits bones toward the ground. So rather than out behind us, sits bones root downward. From your chair pose, find your edge. So we're going to stay here for a breath. So finding your edge may mean softening, right? It may mean taking the arms out altogether. It may mean being a little higher up. So you decide what finding your edge means to you. Remember, in yoga, we always want to find the place between easy and ouch, right? That's where our edge is, where we can go to a place where our breath is still flowing smooth and easy, and we're not moving into a place of injury. So from when you're ready, press the air away, rising up, float hands to heart center, thumbs to the sternum. Remember your intention. Sweep fingertips along the ground, chair. And exhale, right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand to low back, sink into a twist. If you have a block at home, this can be nice here between the legs. And then between the top of the legs, I always call it human Pez dispenser. And then left hand on top of right, turn, turn, turn. The block helps to keep the knees parallel. So if you don't have a block, peek down, and then maybe draw your right hip crease back a little bit in order to parallel the fronts of the knees here. So inside the twist, turn, one more breath. Look to the ground. Set your hands down, straighten the legs. Inhale, chair. Exhale, left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand to low back. Roll your right shoulder open, sink the left elbow toward the outside of the leg, and right hand stays on top. So know that you can stop anywhere along the way. Maybe this is your best twist today, and that's awesome. That's great. Do you, right? On your next exhale, find your edge, whether that means backing off or turning up the volume. Check in with those knees and make sure we can get them moving toward parallel at the front. Exhale, gaze at the ground. Set your hands down, straighten the legs. If you have a block, you can remove it. And then when you're ready, we'll step back to plank. From your plank pose, we have an option to do some push-ups if you like. So in yoga, push-ups look like elbows drawing back toward the body as you lower, rather than out to the sides, like when you're in the military and the rest of the world. We don't have our elbows come out. We have them come inward and up. We exhale down. We inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left. Just one more. Exhale and inhale. From here, bend your knees a lot. Press yourself back into downward facing dog. So that can feel strange if you've never practiced push-ups inside of yoga that way. So just be patient with you. And as you soften your face, release the weight of your head. On your next exhale, right leg high in the sky. This time we'll bend the knee and stack the hips, sinking that left heel even lower. Rooting into both hands, press your torso back towards your thigh. And then on your inhalation, straighten the right leg. Right foot sweeps up between the hands. And from here, lengthen from the back heel through the crown. Roll the shoulders back. Smooth breath in. And we'll draw the back heel down. We're going to rise in Warrior One. So, my students will also tell you I'm super picky about Warrior One. Your feet are in 2 lanes of traffic because in the West, we don't sit on the floor very much, so it's hard to get our hips square if we keep our feet in this sort of closed place, right? So with the heel alignment or heel and arch alignment. So we make a little bit more space so that we can turn our hips and our shoulders. You can get really dynamic in this pose if you make the 2 lanes of traffic. So if you have the feet like so instead of like so, right? So, hope that makes sense. But if you look at your own hips, put your fingertips on your hips and square them toward the front of your short edge of your mat, and then your shoulders square right over that. Then extend your arms, Warrior One. Root down into the long edge of your back foot. Rise up through the fingertips. And then on your exhalation, we're gonna root in toward our front foot, sweeping our hands back, humble warrior. Reach out between the hands behind you. Open up between the hands and then squeeze them in. So this time underground that we're framing this practice with doesn't have to be easy, right? We can still challenge ourselves. It's challenging all of us, right? We need to find the places where we can grow here. On your inhalation, rise. And now we'll flow with breath. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise. Clasp your hands. This is temple mudra, so your pointers are together, extended. It's also known as Kali mudra. It helps. It's a symbol of her sword. It slices through difficulty. So you can think about that for a moment. Let's reach it up. Inhale, slice through the difficulty. And exhale, slice through just the arms. You can really clasp the hands tightly and pull the elbows apart. And this can be a nice isometric exercise for the arms. One more time. Inhale. I hope that's the right word. Exhale. I'm sure someone's looking it up now. On your inhalation, we're going to lift it one more time. Shift your weight into your right foot. Come up onto the ball of the back foot. And then launch yourself up into Warrior Three. Open the hands once you arrive. Drop that sword. And just be. Length from the fingertips to the heel. Flex the back foot, open the toes. One more breath, lengthen the back of the neck. And then sink back down into Warrior One. Float hands to heart, easy does it. Remember your intention. On your exhalation, root into the right foot, step your left foot forward next to your right. Just stand tall in mountain pose. Take a deep breath. Sweep fingertips along the ground chair. And dive into the pool, standing forward bend. Release the weight of the head. Let go the weight of the shoulders. Soften the knees as much as you need to be here, releasing any tension in between the vertebra from all the sitting we've likely been doing with our binge watching and our being on the computer too much, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. On your next exhalation, we'll step back to plank. Plank pose, lower half. Inhale, press to the top. Feel free to skip these if you like. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press to the top. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press to the top. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press to the top. Just one more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press to the top. Bend your knees a lot. Press yourself back to downward dog. Downward dog should feel like home. Should? What's a should, right? Okay. Downward dog invites you to feel like home. See how you feel inside of it. Root into the hands, root into the balls of the feet. And then on your next exhalation, left leg reaches up into the sky, bend the knee and stack the hip. Root down into that right heel, or maybe it's not on the floor, and that's okay, mine's not for sure. But energetically sink the right heel. Let go of the weight of the head. Straighten the left leg, sweep it up between the hands. Take a pause, lengthen. And we're moving into warrior one. So root down in both feet, and then we'll set the right heel down, making some space between the feet so they're in 2 lanes of traffic. Even before you come up, take a hold of your hips and steer them so that they face your short edge of the mat. Then inhale, rise up. Warrior one. Feel any better now that you've been in it on the other side? Does it make any more sense? Hopefully. Reaching out. Feel the breath flowing through. Squaring the hips, squaring the shoulders. Root down into the long edge of that back foot. Sink toward the 90-degree angle in the front knee. You're breathing in and out through your nose. And then we'll exhale, humble warrior. Reach out behind you, open your hands, and then drag the hands toward each other, squeezing an imaginary beach ball. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, float up, warrior one. Exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Last time, exhale, humble warrior. And we'll rise up, clasping that Kali Mudra. And then you can pull the arms apart. So really make some effort there, if you like, or soften it. Remember, there's a volume knob inside of every yoga pose, and you get to choose whether you turn it up or turn it down. So decide how much effort you want to place between pulling these elbows apart, pulling the fists apart, and then we're going to just bring the arms down, slicing through our challenges right now. Inhale, slicing through. Exhale. This mighty sword, slicing through the challenges. Last time, sink it down. And inhale it up. Open the hands. Reach out. We actually stayed clasped last time, so let's do that until we rise up. Rise onto the ball of the back foot. Shift yourself forward into warrior three. Open the hands. Lengthen through the back of the neck. So it's easy for your chin to jut forward. Instead, pull it in slightly. Reach out through the back foot, out through the front fingertips. Broad across the top of the shoulders. So we open our hands here to make this space at the shoulders more spacious. And then on your next exhalation, we'll sink back into warrior one. Float the hands to the heart, remembering your intention. Sweep the arms down to go up, and we'll bring our hands back to frame our front foot, stepping back to plank. One more time. Remember, these are optional. Exhale, lower half. This time we'll just do 3. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower half. Inhale, rise. Just one more. Exhale, and this time finish with an upward dog. Lift your heart, raise through the crown of the head, and then roll through the toes, downward facing dog. One more breath. And then walk your hands and feet to the center of your mat, releasing the weight of your shoulders, releasing the weight of your head. Inhale, rise up. chair, root down, send your energy down into the floor, and then press the airway, float hands to heart center. So, one of my favorite poses, here we are. For all of this idea of what we're planting, we're gonna rise into tree pose. So first, root into your feet. And you can do that by pressing down into the feet. You can lift your toes, really feeling the bony part of your big toe pad, pressing just below the big toe, in the ball of the foot, pressing down, and maybe feel it in the pinky toe side. I challenge my students sometimes to tap just their pinky toe down, then lift. Tap just your big toe down. It's hard. And then lift. And then maybe pinky toe and big toe only. Trying to keep the other guys up. Wow, that's a lot. Soften your feet down. Pull the floor apart between the feet for a breath. Very rooted, as if you can imagine those roots growing down into the earth. Then shift your weight into your left foot. Lift your right knee. Open like a book. This can really help to open across the front of the hips. Now, tree pose can be simply a kickstand. Then we want to try to keep the hips level. So it's really easy to kind of get out of alignment there. Foot can come to the inside of the ankle, inside of the shin, or up in the thigh. Remember, we don't want to press this foot into the inner knee. So lengthen again through the crown of the head. Pausing here. Breathe. This is one of the most meditative balance poses. So if you can find this place where you can be with your breath here, which you know the breath is always moving, and yet we're in this stillness. So we're just like those trees when you lie on the grass and look up at them, and you can see that these giant trees above you are still moving. They're still swaying. Even if their trunks are huge, there's still some movement. So, as you stand tall, lengthening through the crown of the head, let's see if we can reach our hands up. This is a long hold in tree, so good on you. If you fell out, come back, take your time. Reach up through the fingertips, and then bend the elbows. So we grow our tree, and this is like when the tree flowers. And then we open our arms. And this is like when the tree limbs are full of fruit, because your arms feel really heavy with your palms face up for some reason. And then we're just gonna fly right out of the tree. Send the leg behind you, arms out wide in airplane pose. And then reach the hands forward back into warrior three. And your left leg may be going, nuh-uh, by now. That's okay, sink your right foot to the ground. You wanna listen, come back into warrior one. Now we'll step our right foot forward. And give this left leg a little love. So take a couple of fists and give it some love all the way up and down. We did a lot of grounding, a lot of rooting, a lot of being our strong tower just then. So give it some love. Then, when you're ready, stand up nice and tall. You can even shake it out if that feels good to you sometimes, or even, snapping it a couple of times in. So see where you are with that left leg. Let it come back. And then as you're ready, let's root down into our feet once more. Press down into the feet. Lift your right knee. No, we just did this side. Don't do that. As I did yesterday, I promise to always be human. Root into your right foot. Lift your left knee. Open like a book. Find that structure for you that makes sense, whether it's kickstand, inside the ankle, inside the shin, or up in the thigh. And then pause here, settling in to this introspective balance, lengthening up through the crown of the head, being with this moment.
inhale the arms up. It's kind of nice for me to stop talking, huh? You guys are going to mute this and just watch along and work along. Especially my friends who have those giant screen TVs that I'm playing on. You could just watch and not hear me ramble. Reach up through the fingertips, lengthen through the crown. This is growing your tree. And then we'll bend the elbows to flower the tree. And then we'll open the arms, that symbolic fruit on the tree. Reach out through the fingertips. And then we'll flip the palms and send that left leg out behind. Airplane pose. Tuck the chin in slightly. Sweep the arms forward for warrior three. Lengthen from the back heel through the crown of the head. Lengthen out through the fingertips. One more breath. And sink the left foot to the ground, warrior one. Float hands to heart. Step your left foot up next to your right, and you can give the right leg some love. 2 fists. And if this isn't your thing, that's cool. Do something else. You can just shake it out or rub it out. Call them love taps. And come up. Maybe give this leg some shake or snap it a couple times in. A little can-can action. And then inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Release all the weight of the head. Pick up your big toes and wrap your 2 fingers around your big toes. Press the big toes down into the fingers. You can bend your knees as much as you need to get there, and then pull up on the toes with the fingers. Let go of all the weight of the head. Broad across the upper back. One more breath. And on your next exhalation, release the toes. Sweep into chair pose. And dive into the pool, standing forward bend. Step back to plank. From your plank pose, who wants more push-ups? How about just one? Shift forward, lower half. Inhale, press to the top. Bend your knees a lot. Press your torso back towards your thighs. Straighten the legs, down dog. One more breath here. Bend the knees, bring them to the floor. And cross the ankles over in a nice long forward fold, allowing tension in the neck, any tension in the back to just fall away. Now on your next exhalation, walk yourself up and we'll come lying on the back. Once you've arrived on your back, release the whole back body down, and we'll draw the knees into the chest. Place one hand on each knee and just make some circles, any kind of circles that you like. You can do one and the other, or big wide circles inward or big wide circles outward, doesn't matter. Just make some movement for the hips and the legs. And then when you are ready, we'll slide our hands to the long edges of the feet, let the elbows come to the inside of the knees. Notice my chin, or notice your own chin, and maybe pointing up to the ceiling. So draw it in, lengthening the back of the neck. Happy baby pose. So drum your fingers along the long edges of your feet. Rock a little side to side. Easy does it. Maybe playing with straightening one leg and then the other. And then when you rebend, you'll come back up, right? So easy does it. Maybe re-lengthen the back of your neck. One more breath in, happy baby. Letting the thighs be outward from the frame of the body.
And then draw the soles of the feet together and bring your feet to the floor in reclined cobbler's pose. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Let the elbows sink to the ground. So your hands might be on the side of your chest and the side of your belly, and that's okay. Smooth breath flowing in. Feel the breath flowing beneath the hands. Soften your shoulders. Soften your hips. Relax your elbows. Relax your knees. Soften your ankles. Easy does it. Turn your head to the left. Inhale to center. Turn your head to the right. Inhale to center. Just a couple more times. Back and forth with the head. Easy does it. Keeping the neck supple. Listening to any stuck tension there. Just noticing it. Maybe breathing into that space. And then as you're ready, draw the soles of the feet to the floor. And if you have any low back issues, heel and toe the feet apart. Let the knees drop together. If not, send the legs out along the ground and let the hands drop open. Tuck the scapulas up under the back slightly to give the heart a lift. Let the weight of your arms release, the weight of your legs release, the weight of your head release, your hips, your shoulders. And then begin to ride on the waves of the breath as they flow in and out, in and out, in and out. Surrender completely. Gently now, begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Bend your knees and place the soles of the feet on the floor. Inhale, sweep your right arm up next to your right ear along the ground and roll to your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. Stay for a breath and bring to mind something that you're grateful for. Appreciate that one thing deeply. Let it fill your whole person with gratitude. And then on your exhalation, press into your top hand, rising up to a comfortable seated position with eyes closed. Rest your hands on your knees. Face up for receiving, face down for calming, whatever makes more sense to you in this moment. And draw in a smooth, long, deep breath, nourishing the body. One more, and then exhale the chin toward the chest. Blink the eyes open. Inhale, arms and gaze up. exhale, hands to the heart. And for our purposes, namaste means the divine in me bows to the divine in you. So first recognize the divine dwelling in yourself. So truly you're never alone. And then we'll bow to each other through cyberspace and offer that knowledge that the same divine that dwells in me dwells also in you. If you come up with a better word than namaste for that, please let me know. We'll bow together and say namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're still here, a tidbit of information. My podcast is actually finally going to launch. Yay! You'll find it soon, live on iTunes. So, Gratitude Sandwich. It's there if you want to go find it. I'll give a link and I'll be talking about it a whole lot more soon. Hope you're all well. Thank you.